Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Welcome back! Night of the Living Podcast. We're talking about Snowpiercer today. 'Cause why? What's our theme?
Choo-choo.
Shania Train. 'Cause that makes sense. And it will always make sense. And just go along with it. Let it impress you much.
It don't, though. We made the same joke last week, but we can't not make that joke.
She's got the 3 songs in my head, and that's
I
it.
feel like a choo-choo.
Freddie, what are you going to review? What's your movie?
It's called I Still See You.
Okay, so those are the 2 films we shall be talking about today. I am joined by Freddie. You just heard his voice. No need to say anything else. Andy!
She wants me to shut up.
Hi.
Wow, exciting.
Scintillating introduction for me.
We're also joined by our favorite blast from the past.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure infrigidation.
Chiswick!
Hey, Chiz just made a reference to something we should probably talk about at some point.
Yes.
That there's a video on YouTube. It's a fan theory that...
An interesting connection between our film and another film.
Yeah. That Snowpiercer
Yes.
is a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But we'll get into the details when we get to Snowpiercer.
Goodness, I hope so. And I'm Amy. Hi. At the top of the show, Freddie would like me to tell you that there's some fun stuff up on the Patreon feed right now for your ears' pleasures.
Iron Sky, The New Race, a review with Fozzie Bear.
Okay, so...
That was called The Coming Race.
The Coming Race.
How did this come to be? Because I literally have never heard this movie.
Iron Sky, the first one was like a crowdfunded movie that Fozzie actually was one of the backers of. And
that was great.
It did. It turned out great. It was Moon Nazis. The Nazis had fled the Earth at the end of World War II, unbeknownst to everybody on the planet. They had actually beat us into the space race. And they fled to the dark side of the moon and hid out there until eventually there's an astronaut sent there to the moon, and he discovers the moon base. And then they realize that their technology isn't as advanced as they thought because they find his smartphone and decide to come to Earth to get more smartphones. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And then the sequel is even more absurd. But they actually take a lot of care in putting it together. It's actually worthwhile to see it. It's fun.
So Fozzie and Freddie talk about it. It's double F all the time. You guys just talked about Spider-Man for Night of the Comic.
Well, we did a Night of the Comic, and it was mostly... We did not record this...
I thought you were talking about Spider-Man.
We did a little bit. We're going to have a full-blown Spider-Man Homecoming... Or no, Far From Home episode coming up. That one got postponed. But we did have the one where we talked about All New Wolverine and Savage... I think Savage X-Men... or whatever it was. There was some What If comic where everybody ends up in the Savage Lands and Conan crosses over with all of it. It's crazy.
Guess written by Dan Savage.
Yeah.
a lot of sex advice for X-Men.
Right.
Yep. And X-Men.
So that's up there. We just recorded an intro to episode 59 for Origins. Talk about that, where we talk about House of a Thousand Corpses. We literally just had this conversation, and I forgot for a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, that stuff's out there for our lovely patrons. What else, bros and broettes? Oh yeah, Comic-Con.
Yeah, Mikey's there now.
Mikey B is there, which is why we have Mikey C here.
We go alphabetically.
Yeah.
I was going to say Mikey A's long gone.
Yeah, we killed him.
Yeah,
he's dead.
We're going down the whole alphabet eventually.
Yeah.
When NTLP 2069, we'll do Mikey Z. But eventually we'll have to like circle back, right?
When we get to Mikey F, is it Michael J. Fox?
Oh my God. So if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, Mike's been posting stories, including the Terminator panel with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Holy shit. James Cameron, Linda Hamilton. Then Tom Cruise fucking comes out.
Yay.
And introduces Top Gun 2 trailer.
Yeah.
Which to me, I'm very excited. Andy is like, my eyes, if they roll any harder, my brain will be damaged.
I can see my brain.
But I'm very excited. I love Top Gun.
And then, of course, last night, Marvel was just shitting out the news.
Yeah.
Shitting it out.
That poor Hall H. So much shit in their faces.
Yeah.
Shitting that news out.
Phase 4?
I don't know what it is. Is that what it is? Is that where we're at?
I'm pretty sure this is phase 4.
And I was asking this question last night. We were hanging out with Kelley, and I said, so what like is next? Like, what's the next movie? What's happening? And Freddie's like, they're going to do a Blade movie. 2 hours later, Mahershala Ali. I did it the best I could. Mahershala Ali. Mahershala Ali, whom I find wonderful, is going to be Blade. And I was so excited because I love Blade. And then on the Origins episode, we were talking about the Blade TV series, which I really liked that versus the movies. I like the TV series.
So here you go. Quick rundown of what we're getting in Phase 4. Black Widow, Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is a TV series on Disney+.
I'm going to have to get this shit.
The Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is probably going to be awesome. WandaVision, which I love.
I don't understand that.
I like the title.
So here's my theory on WandaVision. Like in the comics, Wanda the Scarlet Witch, her powers are not just shoot funny bolts when she does weird pop star moves with her hands.
Yeah.
It's she can control reality. There was a whole storyline called House of M in which she depowered 90% of all mutants on Earth. So what I think this is the trauma of losing vision caused her to create basically an alternate reality.
Oh, okay.
Because they said it's going to be like very 1950s, and she's going to like...
Kind of like the Vision comics where he has the family and everything.
Exactly. I think this is going to be sort of a spin-off where she creates like an alternate reality, which fits in to the sort of theme of this phase. You know, the phase 1 was introductions, and phase 2 was kind of space, and phase 3 was Thanos, and phase 4 seems to be the multiverse. So, you know, they give her own alternate dimension.
Yeah, and that's a series also on Disney+. Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness supports Chiz's theory. I'm so excited for this movie.
I wonder is that going to be a horror movie?
They said it's going to be Marvel's first horror movie.
They said that about that X-Men with Maisie. Yeah,
Did that ever come out?
Not yet. No.
Is that ever going to come out?
It's New Mutants, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maisie Williams and everything?
I feel like don't release it. There's no way they would can it, just the money involved. I would think they'd have to.
No, I liked in the Multiverse of Madness, in the Mountains of Madness, I think obviously is what they're trying to evoke, right?
It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Loki TV series on Disney+. And Tom Hiddleston's coming back for that. I love they got the stars from the film series to reprise their roles for these TV shows. That's just like
it's going to be a very
unprecedented.
subdued series.
Loki's also going to be doing
very low-key.
CSI Asgard.
I would watch the shit out of that.
That would be
'cause I love
fun.
a murder show.
Now, you're also getting an animated series called What If, and if you're a longtime Marvel fan, especially in the 80s, I ate these comics up.
Yeah.
Because it
How'd
was
they
so...
taste?
They tasted like paper. But there was one in particular I remember is What If... What if Professor X found the Juggernaut suit, or was it
The
what
Gemma
if,
Sidorak?
Yeah, or and maybe it was like the Juggernaut ended up running Cerebro or something. I can't remember, but like it's usually like what if somebody else were bitten by the radioactive spider. It's kind of why we have like a Spider-Verse type of thing, is these same what if scenarios.
Well, it fits into the multiverse thing.
Yeah,
because there was a whole series called the Exiles where they just went to different worlds and corrected timelines and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Quantum Leap, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hawkeye TV series. This is not the Hawkeye from the films, although he does appear in the show. It is the one who comes along to replace him.
What?
Yeah, his protege. Thor: Love and Thunder film. Taika Waititi. Sorry.
Taika.
Taika Waititi is returning to direct Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, and they announced Natalie Portman. We were talking about this earlier, and I just find her so blah, and I don't understand her as Thor, but whatever.
Well, Thor is just a title. Anybody could be a Thor.
I don't understand her as a superhero.
Okay.
The main thing I don't get with the choice of her as a female Thor is since Phase 2, they have moved Thor into a very comedic role.
Yeah, like fun.
And I like Natalie Portman. I think she's great. Annihilation, her performance in it was chef's kiss. But
Chef's kiss.
yeah,
Golf clap.
but I the only thing I've seen her in close to a comedy was Garden State, and that was terrible.
What
like
about
that
A No
movie.
Strings Attached with Ashton Kutcher?
Let's pretend that didn't.
I know you have the Blu-ray, Mike. You can admit
Excuse me, I have the Blu-ray of the version with Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
Oh, okay.
The good one.
The good one.
Yeah, I just don't understand it, and that's fine. Whatever. It doesn't have to be for me. It's fine. I'm not going to get upset about it.
Well, she's just so tiny that the hammers can be as big as her.
Yeah.
But more importantly, more related and relevant to this show, they announced another Halloween in this new universe that they started with last year.
They're going to do a multiverse thing with Halloween.
They're gonna do a multiverse. It's gonna
Mike
be
Myers meets
interesting.
up with another Mike Myers from a different dimension.
Oh.
But he's a good Mike Myers.
Oh.
It's the Mike Myers from our dimension, like the actor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. And then my head just went blank about other horror stuff that they announced.
Nightbreed 2.
Go to our page, you'll see.
Andy made a poster.
No, I didn't. Actually, it's actually Nightbreed 2. It's coming out soon.
Sure.
Creep Show. Mike was at that panel
Oh,
too. Yeah.
yes. And
That's fake news, by the way, the Nightbreed 2 thing. But Andy made an awesome poster for Cat. It's the cats.
As Nightbreed animals.
And I totally,
creatures,
on first
monsters.
glance, I thought that was legitimately.
You want to talk about horror movie releases?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the world needs to understand this is who I'm married to. Last night, we were watching some trailers, and Freddie's like, oh, the Cats trailer. And I'm like, you haven't seen this yet? Like, the whole internet's been talking about it. And he's like, no. And he starts it. And it's going along. And he's like, oh, this looks great. Oh, I'm so in. And
I'm
like,
totally on board
You
for
are
this.
the one person.
Yeah. When you see a bad movie trailer and you're like, who do they make this movie for? It's usually me. Like, if there's a talking dog in it.
Like, he's in.
Or singing cats. It's usually something to do with animals doing stuff they're not supposed to.
You didn't find it creepy in any way?
Not really. I mean, it's creepy in that some of the cats had big, juicy butts.
Is this grounds for divorce?
This is grounds for annulment.
Andrew
Is
Lloyd
this-
Webber. It's another marriage you've broken
Like,
up.
I get the house and the dogs, right? Like, because you're a freak. and
Because
you
I
get to
got the
live-
cats.
I just don't understand why you didn't think it was weird.
I mean, I didn't say it was normal.
Normal?
It wasn't normal. Oh, what if they... Is Garfield in it? Oh, that'd be so plus.
Oh, my God.
Lasagna, like the corners of my mind.
That's a different memory you're saying.
Freddie, you're gross.
I don't know cats. I'm one of the... I had no... I knew cats was about cats, but I didn't know how deeply
Literally.
about cats it was.
Literally, that's all it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 9 cats introducing themselves,
It's freaky deaky.
and then one asks for permission to die.
Yeah. Do they pipe in like the smell of a litter box into the shows when they do that one?
They do.
They actually spray you from the seats
Yeah.
too. It's very interactive.
Yeah.
Please, dear God, know that I'm not going to go see that with you.
So when you go to
in
see
any way, shape, or form.
Cats, like a live performance of Cats, is there any time where like a couple of the cast are just under a table and won't come out?
Nobody's ever made these jokes.
I don't know.
You just see their paws come out to swat at things.
See, I can't verify whether these jokes were made or not
There's
because I'm
usually-
new to cats.
There's usually like one of them that will approach somebody and want to be touched, and once you touch them, it'll kick the shit out of you.
Yeah, exactly. Don't touch its belly unless it presents its belly, and
There's-
only then if it looks directly in
There's
your
a
eyes.
very strict no laser pointers rule in the theater.
Oh, has anybody ever done that during a showing of Cats?
I'm sure they have.
That's brilliant.
But it's pretty brutal because all the actors had to be declawed.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And
Just
spayed
clip
and
their
neutered.
nails.
No, they take their whole nails out.
Oh,
Damn.
Andy.
And they spayed Taylor Swift.
You want to do a crossover of this and Climax? Cats Climax?
So a bunch of cats on drugs.
Yeah. Maybe this is what the
basically
people in
look
Climax
like it.
were actually seeing in those scenes when they're hallucinating. They were
Yeah, I
seeing
would have
cats.
kicked and hit a person cat. A cat person.
They're kind of cute, some of them.
I need you to stop. I don't like it.
So you're not a cats person.
No, I'm not a musical person. That was A. I was already out to begin with.
Yeah.
And then I saw the trailer and I'm like, ooh, weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
I am a musicals person, and I'm out.
Yeah.
No.
What's the one where they're on roller skates? Starlight
That
Express?
would be Starlight Express. And in response to this, I have started a campaign. I'm going to keep tweeting Andrew Lloyd Webber until I get my goddamn Starlight Express movie.
Yeah.
Wait, were they cats on roller skates?
No,
No, they were trains.
They were a train. It would fit
Starlight-
perfectly into this theme.
Starlight Express, no lie, is a musical retelling of The Little Engine That Could, featuring people on roller skates dressed as trains.
Twains.
These are adult.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
And these are
fucking, this is real?
I am
And people
not-
are okay with it?
I am not fucking with you. It is one of his lesser liked plays, or his lesser liked musicals.
Don't you remember the
but-
Goldbergs where they were doing it as the school play?
I didn't understand what was happening.
No, it's not important. But these were intended for adult audiences, right?
Yeah.
Cats and Starlight
Very
Express.
strange.
Again, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was.
Did you know this, Andy?
Yeah. I'm a... I don't say I have guilty pleasures because I like what I like, but Andrew Lloyd Webber is my guilty pleasure probably.
Only you.
You were rubbing your nipples
have
while you
the
did that?
power
I don't
Is
know
that
why.
within you.
But Andrew Lloyd Webber, you either love him or hate him, and I'm kind of in between both worlds.
Did
What's
you know,
better?
Speaking of multiverse, that in one of the multiverse, Andrew Lloyd Webber was bitten by the radioactive spider.
What's better, Andy? Starlight Express or Finding Nemo the musical in Disney's Animal Kingdom?
I'd drop them both off the cliff.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
That's one
I
good
miss
son.
my dad.
That's a very easy good son choice.
Yeah.
So just drop them both.
Just drop them
Like,
both. Let them both die.
bye.
No, I understand. I understand completely. Wow.
I saw somebody on Facebook. They marked themselves safe from the Cats trailer.
That's
Thought that was just fun.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Is there anything else we need to mention
Safe from
that has
Cats
happened
trailer.
in the last week other than our...
Did we talk about the Cats trailer?
Well, now I'm not sure. Now I'm not sure.
It's gonna be funny. Listen.
They're remaking, or they've remade Jacob's Ladder. Did you know this?
No.
And
It looks like the twist might be different.
yeah, it does.
Is that a movie?
Yeah.
And it looks like, they may have changed a little bit. I'm not sure. And I'm not 100% sure what era it's set in, judging from the trailer we watched.
If I had to guess, they'll probably, if there's still a war mention, they'll update it to the more modern Afghanistan war.
Or they're going to say Crete.
Yeah, they'll update it to Crete.
But
He'll be Minoan in a modern day hospital.
it's hard to determine from watching it. And I don't know how I feel. I'm usually very pro remake because I think if you can bring something to it that is new or it's your take on it, but honestly, this does almost look like a straight cribbing of the original.
And this is what makes me worried. I'm always wary of remakes of movies I really, really love.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be hard for them to improve on something that's already, in my opinion, very good. And Jacob's Ladder is one of my favorite horror movies.
yeah.
So I'll watch it, but I don't have a lot of high hopes for it just because I hold the first in such high regard.
Right, yeah. Everything's going to probably feel like kind of a pale imitation to me.
Yeah.
Is the way I kind of feel about it. Also, I feel like they sexied it up in the presentation where it's presented so much more as this mystery that they have to figure out in the trailer, at least. The trailer could be misleading, but I always felt in the original, it was such an individual story. It's not I didn't feel like he was reaching out to people to figure out exactly what was going on so much as he was just lost in this nightmare.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's, the core of what that story is.
Well,
but anyways, yeah.
It looks like he's still a Vietnam war vet.
It is still
vet,
Vietnam? Did you start to say war wet?
War wet.
Like Chekhov, nuclear vessels?
Nuclear vessels.
So, Amy, where are you on Star Trek right now?
I have
The listeners
finished.
need to know.
I have completed the original series now and up through movie 4.
Yeah, you haven't watched 4.
I mean 3.
You've watched 3.
I'm through Search for Spock.
I am so excited for you to watch 4.
Apparently, it's exciting for me to watch 4. So, woohoo!
That's the voyage home,
Yeah,
which is very fun.
yeah. And I still have not. I've completed Next Generation, but Freddie's making me watch all the movies
I'm making it.
before I get back
at
into.
gunpoint.
Well, no, I just missed Deep Space Nine because we were about halfway through that. But I got to finish these movies. He said before we can get back into that.
I'm worried because, the confluence of when we got a glut of Star Trek stuff is coming.
Yeah, Picard. They just dropped the trailer on that. Data's back.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. It's exciting for me if you're me.
It's exciting for me, too.
Let's be nerds. All right. Anything else before we move on?
I got nothing.
The new season of Veronica Mars is turning out to be really good.
I know. I'm gonna have to do a rewatch. But again, the Star Trek shit.
Is her dad back?
Yes.
Everybody's
Okay.
back.
He was
Yeah,
my favorite.
Everybody's back.
Yeah.
Also, if you have access to HBO, you should watch Chernobyl. It's
Oh, yeah, I got it in my queue. What,
Awesome.
we watched I Love You Now Die on HBO, the documentary about the girl who encouraged her boyfriend to commit suicide via text. That's pretty interesting, 2-parter if you're into true crime.
Yeah.
And I forgot the next thing.
You sure
So
did.
it probably wasn't important.
So there you go.
How did you say it? Did you say Chernobyl?
Chernobyl.
Is that how you say it? I thought it was Chernobyl.
Well, so the proper Russian pronunciation is Chernobyl.
Okay.
Like a chair you sit in?
Yes.
But
When you said Chernobyl, I thought it
Share.
was Cher. Like, oh.
A radioactive chair?
She's so noble.
Yeah. she
Someone
gives-
put my control rods back in.
Cher has control rods.
You have to, otherwise the share reaction will go out of control.
That's what happened with Believe.
Exactly.
That's that sound.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Do you believe? I can't wait for Cher.
Believe. Uh-oh.
Can't wait for Cher month on the show.
Yeah.
What
That's
pun?
great.
Is there any puns we can make about her?
I don't know. The electric chair.
oh god,
We could do
Movies
Cher.
with
We
executions
could
in
do
them.
Chernobyl. We could,
I don't want to get into this weird
radioactive
pun
movies.
hole.
Right in your puns hole.
Oh, sun's out, puns out.
Look, everybody has their fair share of puns.
Do you remember the movie Munchies? And where the guy's like, Cleopatra, or Alexander had his Cleopatra, Romeo his Juliet, and Sonny had his share. That's the best line of that movie.
All right, listeners, we'll be right back.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette.
And we're back, Freddy.
Hey, Amy assigned me
Signed.
this film directed by Scott Spear based on the novel by Daniel Waters called Break My Heart 1,000 Times. This, if you don't know who Scott Spear is, he directed some Scream, the TV series, some of that. A lot of teen romance type stuff. Also a producer. This one, imagine a world. We were just talking about Chernobyl. Imagine a world where there's this meltdown essentially that happens at some lab in the middle of this city, and a wave ripples out and kills all these people. But much like in Hiroshima, there's an imprint left behind that that is like a ghost. Looks like you. It's dressed like you were dressed when you disappeared, and kind of goes through the motions of some moment in your life. But they're everywhere, and everyone sees them, and people have learned to cope with them. After this event, we have moved forward, I think, like 10 years or more. And our main character is Veronica, played by Bella Thorne, who looks a little bit like Bran from Game of Thrones. If you just cut out all the feminine trappings around her face and just had the core of her face, I feel like they could be brother and sister.
Okay. That's a weird way of putting it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Just
mean?
have her face.
Sometimes when someone says a woman or a
They
man
just
look
resemble
like
each
each other,
other.
they
She
look
looks like this person.
somebody.
If you cut out everything feminine about her,
If you cut out her
she
boobs,
looks like a boy.
put them in a bowl, and then you feed them to your dog, you are probably going to go to jail. And her dad was taken in this, but every morning she sees him at the breakfast table reading the newspaper.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. It's a cool concept, right? Yeah. And I think that's why the book is titled Break My Heart 1,000 Times.
The whole concept of this is terrifying. Because, like, what if you were beating off? And it's just like, for eternity, Amy's got to wake up and get ready for work in the morning, and there's Freddy pulling his pud.
Yeah.
Like he has been for the past, 4 years.
To be fair. That's probably, she's used to this shit.
But that's how I remember Freddy always.
Yeah.
So it's a nice memory.
Gloriously humping.
If I was her, I would just move.
So,
Seriously.
it's true. They seems like they are connected to a location. Now, Bella's a high school student. Veronica, sorry, the actor. And there is a kid in her class, a new kid who transferred from another school named Kirk, who everybody thinks is a little strange because he's obsessed with quote unquote rems, is what they call these short for remnants. And their teacher, Mr. Bittner, played by Dermot Mulrooney.
Thank you. You looked at me like I'm a big Dermot Mulrooney fan.
I looked at you because I was...
Was it Dermot Mulrooney or was it Dylan McDermott?
That's why I looked at her, because I was proud. I was proud of myself for saying...
Look at IMDb.
But still, I'm still proud that I read the words. I read the words Dermot Mulrooney.
Dermot Mulrooney.
And I didn't say Dylan McDermott.
I'm so proud.
It's like when something, the color blue is written out, the word blue, but it's written in yellow letters.
He's literally staring at the cast list, but he wants credit for being able to read.
No, but you got to understand that, like, I even read that.
I take care of my kids.
I read that as Dylan McDermott.
You're supposed to. So, Amy, are you a big Dermot Mulroney fan?
No, I'm not even sure which one is which right now.
I really like Dermot Mulroney.
He's
my best friend's wedding.
My best friend's wedding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Young Guns, depending on where your tastes lie.
What an odd name, too. Dermot?
Dermot.
Yeah, it's very Irish.
Well, I was thinking that the other day, like DeForest Kelley.
Yeah.
Just Dermot and DeForest.
Yeah.
Just weird names.
Where'd you go last night? DeForest.
DeForest. Like, I feel like you'd have to go by your middle name or something. But anyway.
So Kirk is obsessed with Rams. That sort of shit is always... I feel like we would just be like ghosts. Mm-hmm. You know? I don't think we would come... Maybe we would come up with some sort of specific name.
Let's speculate
Would
for
we
3
call
hours.
them Pokemon?
We call them...
So...
We had to catch all these ghosts around.
Catch them all.
Yeah, I caught the dad sitting at the coffee table.
Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah. Kirk, you don't know. He might be dangerous. You're not real sure about him. But Veronica, one morning, she's taking a shower, and she sees in the mirror this Rem, and in the steam, he writes the word run on her mirror, which is out of the ordinary. It's not the behavior that they're expected to see from these creatures. And so she starts investigating the mystery of who this Rem was. And she turns to Kirk for help because Kirk is obsessed with Rems. And they team up to work on the mystery. And it's like an onion, of course. They peel back layers. There's more mystery. There's a lot of complexity added into it. Decent performances, nothing earth-shattering. Sometimes Veronica Calder, that character Bella Thorne, is a little bit she's okay. She's not a great actor, but she's also like not incompetent. She does a decent job. Kirk is a little more polished. That's Richard Harmon, and Dermot Mulrooney, always wonderful.
He brings it every time.
However,
Amy?
Amy, your favorite.
What he's working with, though, is a script, I think, written for young adults who don't have a lot of experience with thrillers, because when you get to Act 3, everything felt telegraphed and predictable.
Yeah.
So the turns that it takes, including part of it is a murder mystery, like I think anybody with experience watching these kind of movies is going to see the twists coming from a mile away. That said, if like you have a 13 or 14-year-old who is just getting into genre stuff, this is a pretty solid thriller. So I would recommend it for younger viewers. Not so young that you don't want the Hostel 2 4-year-old situation. I mean, for teens, it's probably a good movie for teens.
Maybe even early tweens.
Maybe tweens. For a grown-ass man.
If Jeffrey
not so much.
Epstein would have invited them to his house, they could probably watch
Right.
this.
That's a good criteria.
Yeah.
Let's say it's Epstein adjacent.
Epstein aged, like what he was into.
It's what he would probably show on his plane on his way to Lolita Island.
It's what he would put in a bear trap.
Yeah. All of these are good.
In the forest.
DeForest.
And he's trying to lure teenagers into the bear trap.
So, a solid C minus from me. If I had to give it a letter grade. It's a solid I still C minus you.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're, the concept is very cool.
I read.
Yeah.
Young adult. I know I'm almost 40. Back up. I live my life. You live
should
yours.
read Break My Heart 1,000 Times.
Mayhap I will.
Because I think it's probably a young adult novel, but also like the concept is super cool. I just think, they put one too many twists maybe into the movie.
Yeah.
It deserved maybe some bigger world building than what it received, because there's this whole thing with a forbidden zone where the ground zero is, and some of it felt a little rushed, which at the same time I probably would have complained that it was too slow had they put all those details in.
Right. You can't put everything from a book into a movie.
It's a hard balance to meet.
Yeah.
So there it is. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've got a movie gun with a movie bullet in it. Somehow your name got put into this, Freddie. So let me redo that. If you guys just want to talk amongst yourselves for a quick sec while I fix this.
I refuse. I want dead air.
Freddie.
I did. If you listen to I started to say Snowpiercer. If you listen to what was the movie that I was just talking about with the space moons, the moon Nazis?
Iron Sky.
The Iron Sky 2 review. That's right. There's like this dead air at the beginning of it that I accidentally left in. Not a lot, but it feels like an eternity to the person who recorded it, because I wanted to leave this conversation in that Fozzie and I had about sleep burps.
Yeah.
So stick through that moment of silence so you can hear Fozzie talk about involuntary sleep burps.
I would love to see you putting that together in the calculus you have to go through. This dead air is terrible, but sleep burps, man, it's just gold.
You got to hear about Fozzie's sleep burps.
I have never sleep burped, I don't think. So, in case anybody was wondering. All right, movie gun, movie bullet. Now we're ready. Andy, you're up first. You live. I know you didn't hear it. Don't worry. It's going to be, Mikey B, he's all the way in San Diego.
I'll take the bullet for him.
All right. Oh, he lived. That means I died. All right. Well, I picked a weird one, I think, but it seemed to have okay reviews. It's on Amazon Prime.
Caligula 3.
It's called The Chicken Party.
That sounds off. That sounds
Is
wonderful.
it from Aardman? Animation?
Sounds so fun.
Is that a Wallace and Gromit movie?
Two Japanese sisters come to Los Angeles for the first time. During their travels, they are invited to a chicken party, a place to make international friends. At first, the party is nice and fun, but by the end of the night, it turns into a nightmare, and the sisters must try to get out before they are killed.
That's fun. It sounds like Murder Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except with chickens and Chinese people.
Instead of
chickens.
hipsters.
Japanese people, honey.
Oh, did you say Japanese?
Oh, my God.
Oh, damn it. It's Heather Matarazzo.
Are they all the same to you? Are they all the same to you? All right. We'll be right back.
This week's main attraction, number 2 in our Shania Train. Nuclear Vessels. From 2013. Directed by Joon-ho Bong, who you probably know from The Host if you're a fan. I love his movies.
He also directed, this is probably his third movie that we've covered of his, because he did Mother. That was one of my picks.
Oh, he did do Mother. Yeah. They're so different. Yeah,
he's a great director.
He is a great director. Snowpiercer. This is a post-apocalyptic film, probably you would put it in with like the Mad Max type of films, where global warming, they overcorrected and froze everything.
Whoops.
And now everybody is living on.
At least they believed in it.
That's true. There's that. They believed a little too hard. And everybody has to live on this train run by a mysterious conductor named Wilford. And there is a class system. The closer you get to the engine, the higher the class of citizen. The further to the back, the lower the class of citizen.
The tailies.
Remember
from Lost? This is great.
yeah. Chris Evans.
It's my boy Cap.
Yes.
But he says the F word a few times.
Yeah.
I was so taken aback by it.
I know.
I don't like the F word in his mouth.
I like his beard, though. I was so sad when he didn't have it in Endgame.
I have to say that
it was the real star of the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people say people are canceled all the time, but I don't think he could ever be canceled for me.
I'll fight to the death for him.
He can do anything he wants.
What if the video comes out and he's
I don't
like,
care.
He's like,
shut up.
I don't care.
This is a sack of puppies.
Oh, Freddy.
And this is an Instapot.
Oh, my God.
I was joking. It's not a sack of puppies. It's a sack of kittens.
And then he dumps them out like blah, blah, blah.
I'll be fine with that.
It's true he ate a baby, so.
Yeah.
He does know what people taste like.
And he knows babies taste better.
He's just perfect to me. It's like, Anyway, that's get off my chest.
So this movie is an indictment on late-stage capitalism.
Mm-hmm. This is the leftist propaganda sci-fi film.
Mm-hmm.
AOC loves it.
No, it's that thing. It's that thing where rich people have to have somebody to push down, and no matter if there's enough for everybody, we have to have somebody that's grinding.
Everybody needs to stay in their preordained position.
Speaking of, that's a quote from Mason, the character played by Tilda Swinton, who I think after seeing this, it seals the deal. Best actor of our
Tilda Swinton is amazing in everything she does.
Yeah.
Is she better than Meryl Streep?
Yes.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she can.
I don't have an opinion, but I'm just
Tilda
like the
Swinton,
world does.
She disappears into a role in a way that Meryl Streep never quite does. Meryl Streep gets close. Like she got really close with Julia Child.
Well, the thing with Meryl Streep, you can see the wheels.
Julia Child's in the multiverse.
You can see the wheels turning when her performances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Tilda Swinton's more instinctual.
Yeah.
It just
Tilda
happens.
Swinton is the female Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Or you know what?
Gary
I'll say it
Oldman.
right now. Daniel Day-Lewis is the male Tilda Swinton.
Oh,
No.
hot take!
Whoa.
I put my armrests up.
Can you believe this woke shit happening right now?
Yeah.
Damn.
When God comes down from her kingdom.
I'm gonna be silly.
But I do love Meryl Streep. She's probably one of my favorite actresses. But
she's
it's
brilliant.
just different approaches to acting. You can just see, like Freddie said, Tilda disappearing into the role more than Meryl does.
Yeah. Well,
Merle?
Let me give you a quick rundown of the cast in this, which blew me away. I didn't know how many names were in this, but obviously we said Chris Evans and Tilda Swinton already. But Jamie Bell, who's a great actor from Billy Elliot. One of my absolute favorites, Edgar. I mean the movie Billy Elliot, not the character Edgar.
Right.
Ed Harris is in this. Kang Ho Song, who you probably have to already be a fan of.
Is that the guy from The Host?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Mm-hmm. John Hurt's in this. Octavia Spencer, I had no idea. Ma herself.
Come on, Octavia. She's an action star in this.
Yeah, I do like the moments that they give
There
her.
are 2 Academy Award winners and 2 Academy Award nominees in this film.
Yeah.
In this sci-fi film about a train.
And Ewan Bremer, who is Spud from the Trainspotting movies. I love him.
Who is he in this?
In this, he is Andrew, the one with the crazy hair. Right?
Oh, that loses his arm?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He is so funny. Like, he's just got a natural thing about him. And he's unique. Nobody really quite looks like him. And I thought he was bringing Mad Max realness to this movie.
he looked like Daniel Stern in Home Alone.
Yes!
After he got electrocuted.
Yes!
And he had the hair.
Allison Pill plays the teacher who
Such a creepy scene.
yeah, and you probably know her from Scott Pilgrim. I would think would be the main thing, or probably most popular.
Also The Newsroom.
Oh, was she on The Newsroom?
Mm-hmm.
And then she was in Goon, that really cool hockey movie. But I mean, there are other people throughout that you may recognize.
There are other people in this movie.
There are a lot of people. It's a big train. But
Correct.
That core cast is like incredibly strong, especially like Mike was saying, for a sci-fi post-apocalyptic kind of movie. You don't usually get this caliber of actor in those.
This movie was super bloody, dirty, fantastical.
Slow motion splattering sounds.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I remember when it came out, and I didn't understand what it was. I'm not sure if it was just me or the marketing campaign. And I think it just it didn't do like great, right?
Well, I feel this is more of an art housey sci-fi movie. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not to the taste of quote stereotypical American audiences. I think it's more highbrow.
Well, also it has action sequences, but it's not nonstop balls to the wall action like they kind of marketed it that way.
Yeah, I mean most of the like violent action you would sort of expect from this happens within the first third of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the fighting happens in the early parts of the train. Once they get to sort of the middle class and then the upper class, there's much less violence going on.
I mean, there's still moments where they meet a violent resistance, but it's not a superhero movie.
No.
I guess is what I'm trying to say. So like the violence is a little more realistic when it happens. It's not like super choreographed martial arts stuff, which I think when I heard about this movie, and I hadn't seen it before we watched it for the show, I kind of expected a little bit of that because he was also doing Avengers at the time. I thought, of course, they're going to translate over that he's capable of these complex action sequences where it was a little more toned down and almost like it reminded me a little bit of like what's his name who directed Delicatessen, some of those French movies where some of the action was played up for somewhat a comic, absurd thing, like when they made the battering ram out of the barrels, like stuff like that.
But it's funny that you mentioned Chris Evans doing the Avengers at the time, because one of the, like I was reading up on this, one of the obstacles to having Chris Evans in this was his physique. Like,
that's right.
At the time he was playing
America's
Captain America,
ass.
so he was big. And the director didn't think it fit.
That makes sense because they're surviving on black Jello.
Yeah, they're living off bugs basically.
Yeah,
they should be emaciated, and so that's why he's always in those heavy coats, and the rest was just sort of camera angles to hide the fact that he was built like a brick shithouse at the time.
Yeah. That is the one negative thing about the movie. I did not get to see America's ass.
They should have done what they did in the first Captain America, where they used CGI to make him real tiny and scrawny.
They hadn't done that yet, or no, they had.
Yeah.
With his giant head.
Yeah, I would have loved that
body,
and he'd be all grimy and stuff and little.
It's funny because I just watched first Captain America 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'd still hit it.
Yeah.
Tiny Chris Evans.
Yeah, tiny
you
Chris
get
Evans.
it. Yeah.
TCE.
It's at I get upset at this fake movie, this fictional story of these rich people with all this space and stuff.
Well, it's so relatable, though.
Like, why can't you share a little bit of that? And then Ed Harris is like, no, you gotta have somebody to step on, otherwise the balance and the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you don't. I'm not a socialist. I'm just saying, like, share a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Upset me.
He did. If you remember correctly, for the first month, they didn't get any food.
That's true.
Now they get Cliff Bars made of bugs.
Which I thought after they had eaten people, they were still horrified by the bugs.
Yeah, I know.
It was kind of funny. They're like, oh my God, what's it made of? And me and Amy are like, is it people? I think I saw bugs.
Like, they were stealing children. I'm like, is this where we find out what happened to the kids? No.
It was bugs.
It was just bugs.
Yeah.
Bugs.
Which some people like eating bugs.
A lot of it's a very common food source in many parts of the world. So I feel bug shaming.
Bug shame.
They were bug shaming this movie.
Don't bug shame.
Yeah.
Listen, if you want to eat bugs, that's fine. I don't.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But you said it made you feel things. It made me feel things too, because I get the same. I feel the same things when I'm at Disney and we go to the deluxe resorts, and I'm like, you dirty.
You feel like a Taily.
Yeah. And he just wants to go. Yeah, he boos. He's done that. It's like, you gross monsters. But we're going to be those gross monsters in February.
I said to Amy when they first arrive to the front end and they go into the fancy dining car area, I said, this is Andy's worst nightmare.
No, I felt the same way when we were on the Disney cruise.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing is fancy, but it just reminded me of that feeling like I don't belong here.
But you do. You're allowed to have some nice things every once in a while.
I'm trash.
No, we're trash.
I'm forky. I'm trash.
We're a couple of forkies. We're trash.
It's the people who don't appreciate it that are bored.
Yeah.
Like, like whenever I'm doing something that for me is a special occasion type of thing that won't happen again for years, and I see someone else experiencing that, and for them it's just another day and they don't even appreciate what they're doing. That makes me sad.
I want to say that they're just people. People are people, but rich people, like super rich, they just don't know. They're just they are different people.
They don't understand.
There was a moment in the film, like I didn't catch it the first time, but it stuck with me near the very end when he finally finds Wilford. And you've heard all of these stories, like you see the squalor that they live in, what they're eating to survive. Chris Evans' character Curtis has just told this story about his best friend through this Edgar. When Edgar was a baby, he almost ate Edgar.
Yeah.
And like the like pain they were going through, and they get to Wilford, and like he basically says, You think it's bad down there? It's bad here too. It's noisy.
Yeah.
And it's lonely. And like again, it just like washed over me the first time I watched it, but this time I was like, what?
Fuck you. Just fuck you. And then I said, if I was in this situation where I'm stuck on this train and this is the last remnants of humanity and we don't know that we're ever going to be able to leave the train, I would 100% get addicted to this drug that they're all addicted to, because why the fuck not? Like, why not?
Yeah.
What else? Like, what do they think is ever going to happen? Now, you do find out near the end of the movie that the world is actually warming up again, and life is coming back. So there's hope, right?
Because that's the important late stage capitalist message, is because at the end he's offered ownership, but the point is taking over the system doesn't fix things, because the system's still there. You have to step outside.
The system is broken. You got to drain the swamp.
You
And that's what
literally
he's
have to
trying to do, you guys. Trump is trying to fix this.
So Trump is Chris Evans in this analogy?
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
No, Trump is the polar bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Trump is the dirt the kid is pulling out of the bottom of the train.
He's the cockroach.
He's the cockroach.
we got to talk about Yona and Nam, because we haven't mentioned them at all yet. They're the key to getting from car to car. They part of the mission that they've built up is finding this engineer who is the only one who knows how to open the doors, and his daughter,
Yuna,
just happens to be with him.
She was in The Host. She was the young girl that was
Oh, is
kidnapped.
that same her?
Yeah.
Same her? Is that same her?
Yeah, there's this kind of subtle B story going on with him, because the whole point of the group trying to get to the front of the car was to make Wilford answer for his crimes, basically. But he's been sort of off to the side. They rescue him from the prison car, and he basically says that, he's a security expert. He knows how to open the gates from car to car, and that he will do it for them for Chronol. Like Chronol is this drug that they mention at the very beginning. And he's just
It's industrial waste.
Yeah, it's industrial waste.
And he's addicted to cornhole.
Yeah, he's addicted to cornhole.
He's from the Midwest.
Yeah.
He's from Indiana.
And
got a
they
whole
think his
cornhole
daughter
car?
is also addicted to cornhole, because they keep collecting cornhole every time they see cornhole.
Yeah. But
Chrono.
Cornhole.
he moves along with them.
I am Cornholio.
I need DP.
Sorry.
And as we go through some of the richer sections,
Hello, I'm Richard Sections.
he's taking more of this chronol from the Richies. And like in all these
He
different
stole
scenarios,
Richard Sections cornhole.
but in all of these sections, he keeps looking outside to different things. And we finally get almost to the very end, and he confesses that the reason he had been coming along was not to help them complete their mission, but he wants to get out of the train.
Yeah, that's what was it? The rebellion. What were they called? The Seven.
The Revolt of the Seven.
Now, this is something also that's tied into the anniversary date of the train leaving the disaster that struck Earth. Like, what is it? The 18th one. Right?
Yeah, this is the 18th.
Yeah, and
year.
they talk about there had been other revolts, 2 other revolts, I guess.
I think she said at least 2.
Yeah, and this is the school teacher scene we were talking about with the pregnant school teacher.
Or they shot her ass.
Yeah, that was great. Played by Allison Pill, who was super.
They didn't shoot her, threw a knife in her neck.
That's right.
They done killed her ass.
Yeah, they did throw a knife in her neck. Good memory, Mike.
Thank you.
Wowzers.
It was a good memory.
Yeah, this creepy scene. So they've kidnapped Tilda Swinton and they're moving forward through the train.
Mm-hmm.
You know, dying off slowly as they're coming through, and they get to the school train.
Yeah, which
Kids.
is it's at first it seems really warm.
Yeah,
it looks like what you'd expect from an elementary school. The teacher is this kind of sweet pregnant teacher. What you know, it's very stereotypical Americana images, but she starts to sound kind of crazy. She almost sounds like a
fanatical,
like a fanatic, or almost like one of those
kids start dabbing.
Yeah, those Westboro Baptist Church people almost. Yeah. And she has a baby. She has a kind of a weird baby face to begin with. So there's something extra creepy about when she starts becoming more worked up.
And then they get to, and apparently they're on to him up front. I mean, they know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And this guy comes through with his basket of eggs. And my favorite part of the movie was Octavia Spencer just cracking the egg on the kid's head.
I like that scene because I know it's not the fault of the children, these rich children, but I was like, I don't care about these children at all. I hope they get, collateral damaged.
Andy,
but they're part of the system, and it's not their fault that they're benefiting from it. Yeah. But you just look at them that they have so much and you have so little.
Yeah,
and it's kind of this, I go through life and look at these kids like having so much. I'm like, God, you're such an asshole. I hate you so much.
You have an eat the rich attitude right now?
Kind of. After seeing this movie.
Don't we all now?
Yeah. I think
post-Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah. When you kind of grow up, like we grew up really poor and struggling, but at the same time, we didn't have to eat black Jell-O. And Dad did bring an Atari home one time.
So there you go.
Yeah. So I consider myself, compared to the Tailies, I'm a privileged
It's not like I was
shit.
dirt poor or anything, but, like I say, when these rich people, they don't have to think about,
anything.
spending their money or where their stuff comes from at all.
Bezos is trying to go to fucking Mars.
So I wanted to mention that you were talking about the egg scene.
Yeah, so under the basket or the wheelbarrow full of eggs is guns.
Yeah, and I love the guy who brings the eggs. It's Tomas Lamarque.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
he
was in the new Blade Runner. He's just an interesting looking guy. He has what is that called? Alopecia. What is it where you don't have hair? Alopecia.
Yeah,
and his character is called Egghead. So it's like the double down of the image of him bringing the eggs. You think that's the visual reference, but there's so much more to that character once you realize he's smuggling these weapons into the room.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the there's an important point there, because at the very beginning of the revolt, one of the things that spurs them on is Curtis makes an observation that the guards don't have any bullets in their guns.
They're extinct.
Yeah,
that's the way they always put it when they run out of something.
Yeah, anything that they run out of, it's extinct. But he mentions that they must have used all of their supply of ammunition prior or putting down the last revolt. And so, they're fairly confident going through, and then they finally get to this point. And it turns out, no, they have plenty of bullets left.
Yeah. Well, there's that great line. I can't remember if it was the school teacher.
It was Egghead.
Egghead delivered it. You shouldn't listen to rumors.
Well, he came to the back section, the poor section with the eggs, and someone said, I thought chickens were extinct. And he says, there are plenty of things you think are extinct that aren't. For instance, and pulls out a gun and just starts gunning people down.
Yeah.
So you get to the front and everything, and Wilford, and turns out this was all a plan.
Yeah, he's like, you should have gone front to back. Is the line?
You never go front to back. I mean, no, you don't go back to front. You always go front to back.
And that's the line that Ed Harris says right before he pulls out the bazooka and kills Chris Evans. He's like, should have gone front to back, never back to front. Now your pussy itches. And then he shot him with the
never go ass to mouth.
He shot him with the rocket launcher.
Is that why Elsa has a UTI?
Yeah, she's wiping
back
wrong.
to front.
Yeah.
The whole thing the twist is that John Hurt and Wilford are actually in communication and were partners at one time. Now you think they're no longer John Hurt.
Yeah, you think that the character that John
He's
Hurt.
a tailie. He's lost limbs. He's grimy. He's gross, and he's friends with Curtis.
Well,
but
how
it
he
turns
lost
out-
the limb too is he
Saving.
sacrificed his arm so they wouldn't eat the baby.
Yeah, don't eat the baby. They took our baby.
Yeah, they said that line. Did you do that too? We're like, they took her baby.
I want to talk about so bad.
Like
at that
every
point.
other episode of this show, we reference that
took our
from the Wild
baby.
and Wonderful Whites, West Virginia. What a perfect movie.
Yeah.
But,
So-
Y'all got fiestas?
Gilliam. That's the John Hurt character.
It turns
yeah.
out that Gilliam was urging Curtis on in this revolt on because he's in cahoots with Wilford because they need to keep the population in balance, and this is one way of doing it. It also is a psychological thing.
Yeah.
If we put down this other revolt and then a bunch of people die, the tailies have more room, they have more things, they're happy. It's like this thing that
It's
has
like the
Yeah,
control
I would-
the deer
I
population.
would,
Yeah.
I would like
argument.
to point out that the way they control population is killing 74% of the poor people.
right.
Not 74% of the population of the train, 74% of the poor people.
The shoe, not the head. The
Yeah.
shoe. You are the caboose.
Yeah.
It's very
Be
obvious.
a shoe. Don't be a hat.
Hat. That's right. It's very devastating, of course, for Curtis because not only does he know what babies taste like, he's been
Snozzberries.
betrayed by his mentor, by somebody he thought he could trust, and then security dude. What's his name again?
Security dude. You're talking about the guy who has been going through the
With
train.
his daughter, Yona.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, that's Nom.
No. So he's like, let's get the fuck out of the train. He's like, it's starting to melt. I'm seeing more and more of this plane that I've seen for years.
The reason why he was collecting that chrono was not really because he was an addict. It's because it's flammable, and he was packing a bunch of it to make a bomb to blow a door up.
And then shit gets kind of chaotic and real hairy. But at the end, Nom and Curtis sacrifice themselves to save Yona and Timmy, who had been kidnapped along with the other children because they're small enough to fit down into the train and fix it because it can no longer fix itself. And they have to manually work it.
They have to reach into the hole, pull the muck out, which is they refer back. You realize that's what the Tilda Swinton character was miming when she was explaining about people knowing
Shoes
their
and hats.
role. Shoes and hats.
Yeah.
Boots and pants and boots and pants.
Boots and pants, boots and pants.
So everybody's dead except for Timmy and Yona and a polar bear. And it's a new world.
It's hopeful, but it's still fucked up because
Yeah.
they're like probably the last two people on Earth.
Oh, because Timmy's gonna have to fuck her.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Freddie?
No, but even if they had to,
I'm
that's
sure
still
somebody else
or is there
lived.
going to be a sequel with
That's
polar
just
bear
two
hybrid
people.
people? Mareman pig, bearman pig,
it's gonna be like the new cats.
yeah,
Or the polar bear. Or the polar bear's like, ooh, food.
yeah.
Yeah, and then
The sequel is just blood in the snow and a polar bear licking its lips.
so what's interesting, they just announced the series on TBS. Snowpiercer with Jennifer Connelly and Daveed Diggs from Hamilton. And we just watched the trailer, and it looks pretty similar.
Yeah, they really captured the look of the movie in the series. Now, who said it was a soft reboot? Was that
That was IO9.
okay? So it's 6 years, right? Isn't it 6 years after the train left? Is the way whereas the film is 18 after. So I thought maybe it was intended as a prequel, but I guess the events of the film may or may not eventually happen.
Yeah.
But I do like the
Now,
idea.
again, it might be kind of both because the revolt of the Seven, the first revolt that they mentioned in the classroom scene, did happen approximately 6 years, or I think it might have been 3, after the train had started. So it's possible that it's not only a soft reboot, but a retelling of that. As opposed to this later one, because the train does look in sort of like everybody in general looks in much better repair.
It's slicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That might just be
Sexier.
updating,
Yeah.
making it sexy.
there's also a graphic novel that is coming out from Titan Comics
Well, there's already a graphic novel. It was based on a graphic
Yeah,
novel.
wasn't it based on a French?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a new one coming out that is a prequel called Part 1 Extinction.
And that's truly the soft reboot because the paper, it's a soft
actually
book
soft.
Yeah.
versus like light rays that you just can't even feel coming through the air to your television set. That was science you guys just heard.
And I want to say this movie was very brutal. It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
But there are like moments throughout the movie that are peppered with comedy.
Like Octavia Spencer cracking that egg on that kid's head.
Well, there's also a lot of
like,
visual gags.
And
with,
just Tilda Swinton's whole performance.
Yeah. Tilda Swinton in general. How Claude met her end. Claude was the woman in the yellow coat that came to measure children.
Yeah.
She's a cold-hearted monster. But she gets knocked out at the very end. And just as they're grabbing the two kids to shield them from the explosion, like there's just one shot of Claude waking up and looking at the bomb like, what the fuck?
Well, it's very common in like these Korean movies. They're very heavy, but there's moments of levity peppered throughout, which is a nice break from all the
Yeah, Train to Busan with Panda Bear.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to be in the new Marvel movie, the Eternals.
The Eternals?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Kumail's in that. Kumail
Is he?
Nanjiani. Yeah.
Very diverse cast.
Yeah. I love Kumail. All right, so that was Snowpiercer, bitches.
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, me too.
Great month so far.
I've been reading some dystopian sci-fi lately. So I was like, do I really want to watch this? But
Like
it was a
what?
lot of fun. I'm reading this book called Wool.
Wool?
Wool.
Like what you get-
Wool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a series. And it's kind of similar in essence to what Snowpiercer is. About these people that live in these silos. But they don't know. They know that the outside world is poisonous to them. But they don't. They've been in this silo for so long. They don't know anything else. It's interesting. So yeah, Snowpiercer. Thumbs up, y'all. So at the end of every show.
Well, 1 second.
No.
Next week,
Oh yeah, next week.
Mark Watts won the opportunity to pick our last feature for Shania Train.
Train.
That's what I said. Shania Train.
Train.
Shania Train.
And it's Thomas and Friends.
He was excited to win.
The
He
Road
said,
to Hell.
It's Starlight Express.
Horror Express.
Oh, no.
You're close. Horror Express.
Yeah.
This is from 1972. What he said was the classic story of a prehistoric fossil's quest for knowledge on a Victorian train.
Ooh.
While being hunted by a Telly Savalas that is just chewing every piece of scenery in the film.
Ooh, Telly Savalas.
It's free on Amazon Prime. Hope you
Yeah,
enjoy it.
sweet.
Yay, thanks, Mark.
It's a little campy, being in an early 70s film
okay with
and
that.
all. However, if you enjoy old Hammer flicks, I think you will like it.
I'm excited about this.
So, Horror Express, 1972.
I've opened my heart and mind to older movies. And I'm ready.
It has Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing,
Ooh.
Alberto
it
de
basically
Mendoza.
is a Hammer horror movie then.
Yeah, essentially. So Eugenio Martin directed, who is still alive, amazingly, because he was born in 25.
Christopher Plummer's still alive.
True.
Yeah.
It's true.
I haven't seen this movie, but I'm going to say already, good pick, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see next week. All right. So we're going to say hi to our Beelzebubs. Are you ready for this? We're going to go with Alise, who made me carnitas last night.
And my toilet smells like them.
Freddy.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, we just talked about Mark, who has chosen Horror Express. Hi, Mark. Thank you for that.
Oh, quick aside. I was thinking of Mark the other day. I don't know why, but it's because I was watching What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series.
Yeah.
I was like, please, Mark, be Colin Robinson for Halloween.
Which one is he? Oh, the
Be the
yeah.
energy vampire.
Yeah. Just put some glasses on and,
that would be a really good cosplay. For
you know,
Mark.
like a sweater vest and a tie, and you're Colin Robinson.
Hi, Blake.
What's up, Blake?
Hi, Bill. How's
Bill.
it going, Bill?
We love
I
you
hear
guys.
New York City's pretty humid right now. I hope you're staying cool.
Yeah, that
Everywhere's pretty humid right now,
the
except for
wind.
Australia.
The
They're
wind
not.
can't get in there.
Yeah.
If Conan went into New York, he'd be like, "How does the wind get in here?" And then he'd punch a camel.
Brandon Boone
Hey, Brandon.
I don't think he's ever punched a camel.
No, he's very kind to animals.
He used to be a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Tree and Alex. Hey, guys.
Hello, yo.
Ernest.
What's up, Ernie?
Then we got Amanda.
Hug and kiss. I always love that Amanda hug and kiss joke. I think it's adorable.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora.
One of the first favorite families. Make sure to stop by Notsploitation at Mask Fest as part of Horror Hound Weekend in D. September 6th.
Coming up, man. Jimmy B.
What's up, Jimmy? Jimmy B.
Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. And
What's up, Pepe?
finally,
My name
Branan
is
and
JF.
Emily. I am working on your shirt. And Ben, just shut up.
Are you making them from scratch?
Yeah.
We also need to send a shirt to our new patron, Adam Troy.
Okay. I will do all of those things.
Yeah.
In time.
We were making a list of duties. It turns out we have a lot of duties.
You do.
Are they big duties?
They're mostly small duties.
Okay. I can manage that.
Yeah.
You could flush those down.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Chizak, for being with us, even though you're yawning so big right now.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for
kidding.
boring me, guys. I could have been playing.
Now go back to the
game.
front of the train and leave us tailies.
Should have brought my Switch with me.
Oh, and Paul goes, thanks for the game. What is it?
Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Yeah, I'm finally giving that to Chizak after you passed it along.
I'm pretty sure that's been in my kitchen for 300 years.
What's it
feels
smell
like
like?
Well, it's going to be
Ancient
in
times.
my computer in about 2 hours.
Yars.
I'm going to Blood Dragon it up.
And thanks again to Mikey B out in San Diego giving you all the Comic-Con stuff. All right, everybody. Be good. Be kind to each other.
And stay cool.
Yeah.
Hydrate.
Stay cool. If you know Heather Matarazzo, tell her we said hi and Freddie's sorry.
He's
very sorry. And also make sure you have plenty of electrolytes in addition to your water. It turns out electrolytes are real, y'all.
They are. Water intoxication is a thing.
Yeah.
It can kill you.
And if you're hot, your pets are hot, you guys.
Not always. I've seen some pretty unsexy dogs out there.
Ew. Is that
Being
how you-
walked by sexy people. They could be dog walkers.
I mean,
Maybe they're walking somebody's ugly dog.
Is there like a criteria? If you have a sexy dog, you have to be a sexy person?
she's an 8 out of 10, but that dog, woof, literally, woof.
That dog's face is smashed.
We love you.
2 out of
Goodbye.
10 would not bang.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed.